Tell him we going for Canelo next.
Yes.
Let's
go. Canelo, come on.
You heard it from him.
We are ready.
Following Canelo's latest win over Edgar Berlanga, Terrence Crawford has once again said that he wants to fight at 168 pounds. Meanwhile, Canelo might not be too excited about this fight. In a recent interview with Cigar Talk, Canelo said that the most important thing for him right now in his career is to set up fights that will not only leave a big mark on history, but also make him the most money. He was talking about the possible rematch between him and Dimitri Bivol, which would be against Crawford. Even though the 36-year-old boxer has great skills, Canelo said that he is still too many weight classes below him. This is an important thing to think about, especially in a combat sport like boxing where strength and size are very important.
You know, everything in my career, every fight make my legacy different and better, no? Terrence Crawford is a great fighter, he's a good fighter, but you know, like I say, he's a weight classes for a reason.
Now, this may not be the first time Canelo has talked about how much bigger he is than Bud. A few days ago, before his fight with Berlanga, Canelo said some pretty controversial things about how easy money it would be for him if they ever did get to fight.
Why not? Why not?
Mm-hmm.
I think Crawford, don't get me wrong, he's a great fighter.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, in my weight class, it's an easy fight.
Mm-hmm.
For me, easy money. So if the money is right, I'm in. Because, you know, I don't like to fight guys like Crawford because he move a lot and the fight is not that great.
Mm-hmm.
I saw Crawford the last fight and he don't move that much now. So if the money is right.
Making his position clear, Canelo said that Terrence's last fight at 154 pounds against Israel Madrimov showed that he was having a hard time, even though he was the better fighter. He also said that Terrence shouldn't make the big jump to 168 pounds to fight the best fighter in that weight class. Canelo also said that Terrence is a slow boxer who doesn't move around much, which is not something that Canelo likes in his opponents.
They are a weight class for a reason, and you need to ask him. It's different.
Mm-hmm.
I know in his mind he think he can do whatever he wants because he's very talented fighter. He's a very good fighter. I like how he fight, but that's why there are weight classes.
Yeah,
and he knows now.
He knows now. You think he felt that?
Yeah.
However, despite Canelo's reluctance in this matter, Terrence Crawford seems to be elated about the mere idea of this fight, as he has been eyeing this chance for quite some time now, debunking Canelo's theories for rejecting this fight. In response, Terrence said that Canelo's claims are ridiculous because he has fought much smaller fighters in the past, such as Floyd Mayweather, Amir Khan, and Jermall Charlo, all of whom were great fighters in their own right, but much smaller and weaker than him. Terrence also stressed that even though a fight between him and Canelo will be way more profitable than all these fights combined, Canelo is still rejecting the offer like a coward because he fears losing his reputation in case of a loss.
Been making his own catch weight for years. You know, Canelo fought a smaller Mayweather. Canelo fought a smaller Amir Khan, but Amir Khan.
He did at 155.
Amir Khan. You know, he fought Jermall Charlo, and I'm pretty sure he didn't make as much money with all those guys except Mayweather, even Berlanga right now, that he will with me. But yet and still, you know, he have all these excuses why he don't want to take a fight with me.
During his latest appearance at the UFC event at the Sphere, which took place on the same night as the Canelo versus Berlanga fight, Terrence once again shared his wish for a battle between him and Canelo, even referring to it as the best fight in modern boxing.
Canelo Crawford, the biggest fight in boxing. But get ready for the main event, y'all. But we stay ready, though. We stay ready. That way we don't gotta get ready.
His Excellency, Turki Al-Sheikh, who was one of the main contributors to this UFC event, also shared the same take as Terrence, urging Canelo to take up this offer, stating how a chance like this is too good to ignore, even for an established fighter like Canelo.
Here at the speak, feel me?
He going next. We want the Nanches.
Tell him we going for Canelo next.
Yes. Let's go. Canelo, come on.
You heard it from him?
We are ready.
Yeah. Hey.
One thing that Turki might have failed to consider here was that the other main reason that Canelo rejected this offer was because of the refusal of His Excellency to negotiate the terms with Canelo's team according to his demands of $150 million, which many at that time considered ludicrous, including Turki, who then went on a rampage on social media, disregarding Canelo as a serious fighter, however adamant on his demands in countless interviews. Canelo has stated that he is not quite keen about the methods employed by His Excellency, and if they were ever to talk about a potential Crawford fight, then it would be based on his ideas of business, not that of Turki, as they are more focused on their gains rather than the fighters that they are dealing with.
I like the way he talk, and I'm not in this position because of any. I'm in this position if he wants to work with me, it's in my way, not in their way.
During his recent post-fight press conference after his unanimous decision victory over Berlanga, it appears this attitude has not changed, because Canelo still refrains from entertaining any business offers made by Turki or his team, most probably indicating how he is still not on good terms with the Saudi giant, based on the continuous negative comments that Turki has made leading up to this point.
Terrence Crawford was Turki Al-Sheikh at the other event across town, put out an open challenge to you on the internet with Turki Al-Sheikh calling you out. What's your response to Terrence Crawford's call out tonight?
No comments.
Meanwhile, despite this fight still not being under any official consideration from either side, the boxing community appears to be eager for this bout, including countless notable experts and analysts who are sharing their opinions about the possible outcomes of this bout after witnessing Canelo's outstanding performance against Berlanga. Esteemed writer and analyst Jim Lampley addressed certain comments about how over time Canelo's age might be hindering him during his fight. According to Jim, even though this might be the case for many fighters who are past a certain age, this does not apply to Canelo, as he has once again showed how, no matter who his opponent is, he still manages to get an upper hand using his immaculate boxing IQ and experience.
Didn't have enough craft to take advantage if, in fact, there was any slippage there. So, no, I'm not going to say that. I think Canelo will be close to the end whenever he decides he's close to the end. As long as he's motivated, Chepo and Eddie are motivated, their lives all stay in order, he lives the way he lives.
Mentioning the potential of a fight with Crawford, Jim looked somewhat unenthusiastic about this, emphasizing how, based on the most recent performance displayed by both fighters in their respective fights, Terrence is nowhere near the size requirement to take on Canelo Alvarez at 168. He also added that even though Canelo shows no signs of slowing down with age, that might not be the case for Crawford, as during his last fight with Mad, he looked rather slack and weak compared to the fighter that he once was.
I'm more than ever concerned that he's not big enough, and not big enough to be able to move around the ring and muscle Canelo in the way that he would have to ward off those really vicious inside power shots. I might have thought a few months ago that I would give Crawford a logical chance to win the fight. He is the most skilled pound-for-pound fighter in the world, but I just don't think he's big enough and strong enough to take on Canelo Alvarez at 168 pounds. And so far, Crawford is 154-pound fighter who's only been to 154 pounds once.
Sharing the same viewpoint as Jim, renowned promoter Eddie Hearn also thinks that the weight difference might finally prove to be Terrence's weak point in this bout, as no matter what strategy he manages to apply inside the ring, Canelo will be able to counter it based on his size. Advantage advising Terrence in case this fight is decided, Eddie weighed in on the value of movement and effective defense, accentuating a fighter like Canelo, commenting on how it will be important for Tyranny to work on these aspects if he wants a chance at winning.
Favor Canelo to win the fight, even though there's certainly not the kind of skill gap that we saw here tonight. Crawford is an amazingly skillful fighter. Maybe that could make up a lot more of the gap, but I would still have to favor Canelo to win the fight, and I'm not sure I would advise Terrence to do it.
Another important fact that Eddie highlighted was how, at this stage in his career, the main priority for Canelo is to create a legacy by fighting the best of the best. And based on this, there is nothing worth it for him in this fight, because even if he wins, people will not give him credit for it. So the only factor that might propel Canelo to consider this offer would be the money.
35, 35, 40, 47, 54. Sooner or later, it's one too many. And 68 is definitely too many. But Crawford's brilliant. Like he's a genius. He's a generational great. So maybe he can find a way to do it. But I feel he'd be hugely outsized against Canelo Alvarez. Yeah. But you have to use your movement. If you're Terrence Crawford in that fight, the last thing you want to do is stand and trade. He'd be moving a lot in that fight, trust me. I'm not saying he'd be running, but he would be moving a lot. Of course, that's the way to beat it.
Danny Garcia, who is a professional fighter and former world champion in 2 weight classes, agreed to the points presented by Eddie on how, at the end of the day, the main concern for any fighter is the profit that they might get from a certain fight, and a fight like this is often hard to get by, so they usually end up accepting such an offer. However, Danny also thinks that despite the allure of a very good deal, this time the fight might prove to be a lot for Terrence, who seems to be undermining the fact that Canelo is not an easy opponent to face, no matter the experience or special skill set you might possess.
Crawford on Saturday and was afraid of fighting him at 68. I think for Canelo, it's more about the credibility he gets through victory. I think he's a little bit concerned, having spoken to him in the past, that if he beats a guy that's coming up from 147 to 168, is he really going to get the respect for that? So we'll see. I mean, money talks. You know, if it's the right deal, he'll always take the fight.
Highlighting another significant factor that could potentially contribute to Canelo's success in his fights, Danny stated that even though most of the fighters he chooses to fight are exceptional and have participated in numerous important fights in their careers, they typically underperform when they face the Mexican fighter in the ring due to the pressure Canelo exerts on them. This pressure stems not only from Canelo's dominating personality, but also from the enormous public support and fans who attend his fights, as Danny noticed in his fight with Berlanga.
At the end of the day, they're 2 great pound-for-pound fighters, and if they feel like, it makes sense and they want to fight each other, stylistically, it's a great fight. But, Canelo, he's a big dude. So I think it'd be hard for anyone to beat him at 168. But, it's definitely a big money fight, and that's why we're all in boxing, to make the biggest fights and try to be great.
Canelo started his career at 147. Then went up to 154 for a long time. Even he's the smaller guy in his weight classes when he fights. But a lot of people don't lose to Canelo, they lose to the event. Because when you fight Canelo, the stage is set for him. Like when I went, I saw J Balvin, I saw fireworks, So you fight him, it's like you fighting in the Super Bowl.
Juan Manuel Marquez, who is not only a legendary fighter, but also a former 3-weight world champion, does not seem impressed by the idea of this potential fight, based on how the weight difference is too large to consider this fight seriously, and how there is no way that Terrence can outmaneuver Canelo at 68. Juan stated it would be a good fight, but I don't think it's good for Crawford. For me, I don't like to see the fight. He added, I think it's no good for Terrence Crawford looking for the fight with Canelo, because Canelo is bigger than him 3 divisions right now too, as Crawford fought at 154. So 2 divisions. But I think the experience and the power of the weight is an advantage for Canelo, being someone who has moved up to various weight classes. Juan stated how in a sport like boxing, a fighter shines best in his own weight class, but when they try to be hasty and jump up way beyond their scope, they mostly end up losing the glamour that they once held, recollecting from his days as a professional fighter. Juan said, I think Crawford is a good fighter. You are the best in your division, but when you go to fight in another division, maybe you lose the fight because you lose the power if you go up to another division, drawing comparisons between this fight and the one between Canelo and Amir Khan way back in 2017, which was Air's first fight at 155 lbs after he moved up 2 weight classes. Juan pointed out how even though Amir tried to corner Canelo in the earlier rounds by using clever jabs and good footwork, he was still taken down by a single punch, which goes to show how great of a fighter Canelo is.
No, did you saw the fight Canelo Amir Khan?
Yeah.
What happened in that fight?
Amir was winning the early.
He used his speed. You move on the ring.
And then
Canelo knock him out with one punch. Yeah. With one punch.
Amir.
Yes, I know. You're looking for the chicken for.
But they say like he doesn't have a good chin. Terrence has a good chin.
Yeah, but I don't know what's and Terrence Crawford need to make the difference. I don't know why. I don't know. He need to use speed, move on the ring. He need to use everything on the ring.
After looking at all these statements and analyses, there is no question that the majority favors Canelo in this fight. But there still seems to be a certain group who thinks that Crawford is being underestimated in this case, and that he might end up surprising everyone. Clarissa Shields, who is part of this minority, thinks that Terrence is the #1 pound-for-pound fighter right now, which makes him superior to Canelo, and the traits that he has attained over the years make him a formidable opponent for anyone. While talking about the weight classes and their importance in boxing, Clarissa thinks that for a fighter like Crawford, they don't apply that much because at the end of the day, he is the better boxer out of the two, which gives him a very good chance to take on a bigger and stronger Canelo.
Crawford. Team Crawford for me.
Rock out with Crawford. It's gonna be a good one.
It's gonna be a good one, but hey, Canelo, he's #2 pound #1 is Crawford.
Yeah.
And that's skill wise.
When Canelo's talking, they make weight classes for a reason.
Oh, that's beautiful. I'm all the way at heavyweight. That's because I got the skills, the power, and everything to pay the bills. And Terrence Crawford is swing. He got the skills to pay the bills, the knockout power. He's very smart in there. And man, he's sturdy. Now, the weight class can matter a little bit, but boxing matters.
Team Crawford. Team Crawford for me, Rock Al Crawford. It's going to be a good one. I was going to be a good one, but hey, Canelo, he's #2 pound, #1 is Crawford, and that's skill-wise. Well, Canelo's talking. They make weight classes for a reason. Oh, that's beautiful. I'm all the way at heavyweight. That's because I got the skills to pay the bills, and Terrence Crawford is hitting. He got the skills to pay the bills.
Canelo can beat Bud. A tough fight to call. I think his size may be his best going factor, but if he goes out and boxes Bud, he's not going to beat Bud boxing. He's not. So if Bud can take his punch, he's not going to outbox Bud. So it's like, it'll be, what would determine the fight would be who wants it most and who has the best fight plan. Because to me, I don't care what they say, if Bud can get Canelo to box him, Bud will outbox him.
So in the end, what do you guys think about Canelo's latest performance? Do you think that it will be enough if he ever decides to fight Terrence Crawford? Or do you think that he is being overconfident about his skills? Or do you think that this might be the fight that finally proves to be the reckoning of Terrence, Bud Crawford? Make sure to tell us about your thoughts in the comments below, and if you liked the video, like and subscribe to our channel.